All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all having a great day. We got a different style of video coming here, and this is something I think I'm going to do a couple times a week. First and foremost, let me say shout out to Fuzzy, because this is kind of a play off what he does with the MLB recaps. Basically, what I'm going to do is recap multiple pieces of news. Instead of just doing one individual video on each, we'll kind of just recap all the latest topics going on in the Yankees community all into one video. So let me know if you guys are for this idea. I think it's going to be a pretty cool thing to do, and I think you guys will like it the same way I will. So let's get into it. We got a bunch of different topics to discuss today. Starting out with the injury situation, we got great news on Luis Severino and Corey Kluber. So, going into this year, it was a big thing that there's a lot of question marks with the Yankees starting rotation, and that very much was true. But lately, that has not been the case. Our starting pitching has been much better than anybody could have expected, especially with the resurgence of Jameson Taillon, which we'll get into in just a second. But as for Severino and Corey Kluber, Brian Cashman has come out and said that he's expecting them to be back sometime between August 20th and September 1st. That is tremendous news, because this is a team that, especially after the deadline deals that we just made, we're expecting to make the playoffs. And you can't make any noise in the playoffs if you don't have starting pitching depth. And this is way more than depth. If Severino and Kluber can return and back to full strength, or close back to full strength, we are basically, I hate saying this, but we're essentially acquiring two of the best starting pitchers in the game. So if they can come back close to full strength and we're getting them back in a couple weeks, that would be so beneficial to this team. And as for Corey Kluber, how he did in 2021, remember, before he got hurt, he was pitching pretty damn well. 10 games, 4-3, 53 innings pitched, a 3.04 ERA. Remember, he got hurt the start after the no-hitter that he threw in Texas. I believe we were facing the Blue Jays we were facing, and he came out with that shoulder injury. Of course, Severino recovering from Tommy John, then he also had a setback with the groin. So that would be huge if we can get them back. And as for the rotation, when those two do come back, this is pretty solid, very solid, especially with the way these guys have been throwing the ball lately. Garrett Cole, of course, the ace of our staff. Then Jordan Montgomery I have pegged as the number 2 starter, and then Corey Kluber slots in at number 3. Luis Severino would take the number 4 spot. Now with Severino, I kind of want to put an asterisk next to that, only because it's not fully expected that he'll be back or be built back up to be a starting pitcher. Like, I don't expect him to go 6-7 innings each and every time out. There even is a chance that he could be pitching out of the bullpen, so just keep that in mind. And then rounding out the rotation, probably our best pitcher as of late, that's Jameson Taillon, which leads us into our next topic, and that is that Jameson Taillon, if you didn't see, he won the American League Pitcher of the Month. And it's so awesome to see this, because Taillon, what he said, I remember the interview early on in this year, was he was basically saying, listen, I'm the second overall pick between Bryce Harper and Manny Machado in 2010. I know I'm not going to make it to the Hall of Fame with all the injuries that he's had. His goal for this year was to be the guy to prove to people that you can come back after having 2 Tommy John surgeries. This guy has he's faced so much adversity, including, what he had, was it testicular cancer, I believe he had, or some type of cancer. This guy has been through it, and it's so dope to see him have a month like this. 5 games, 4-0 record, a 1.16 ERA, 20 hits allowed, and 31 innings pitched. Jameson Taillon has easily been the Yankees' most dependable starter over the last month, and I really hope he continues this success, because a lot of Yankee fans were hard on him in the beginning of the year, so to see him have this type of success, that's definitely awesome to see. So, Yankees, as I mentioned before, and as you all know, they made some big acquisitions at the trade deadline, and Anthony Rizzo, he could not have had a better introductory weekend to the Bronx. Well, not the Bronx, they're on the road. He makes his debut tonight in the Bronx. But point being, the Yankees, they do not sweep the Marlins without Anthony Rizzo. He was 5 for 9 with 2 homers, homer in his debut, which it's crazy all the Cubs did in their debut with their new teams. But he had 3 RBIs, scored 5 runs, 3 walks, and had a huge double play in the 8th inning of Sunday's game, where, Rizzo, obviously, he adds something offensively for this team, as we've seen this past series, but he's probably the best defensive first baseman that we've had, I guess since prime Mark Teixeira, which is a good, 7-8 years now since prime Mark Teixeira, so that's a plus as well. And I'll put the double play on the screen for you guys to see. This was a huge play, especially when Zach Britton's pitching, who I love Zach Britton, but he has not been the same guy this year at all, so that was a big 2 outs. And before we get out of here, to wrap everything up, the Yankees, as I said before, we're expecting to make the playoffs with the deadline that we just had. They're now just 2.5 games back of the Oakland A's for the second wildcard spot. And, I've been quoted, and I still kind of stand by this, but not as much, that the Yankees, I'm not going for the division anymore. I'm not ruling it out, but my focus is on the wildcard spot. Well, all of a sudden, with the way Boston's struggling lately, we're now just 5.5 games back of Boston and only 7 games back of the Rays, who there's a difference between the Red Sox and the Rays. We've actually played well against the Rays as of late. So the division, especially with how many games we have left to make up ground in this division, we actually do have a shot at the AL East. Now, I'm not going to expect that to happen. I'm expecting the playoffs. I'm expecting to at least get a wild card spot. But it is kind of cool that, we have 2 months left of baseball and the division is still very much in play, and there does seem to be a different feel around this Yankees team. And I think Judge maybe even has said this as well, that with the new guys coming in, it kind of provided a spark. And you can see that just watching through the TV screen. Like, there definitely seems to be a different energy, and it's been very fun to watch, and I'm excited, as I always am, for each and every game coming up. All right, so let me know what you guys think about this style of video. I understand that, it's brand new, so it's going to be, I guess, a little rough around the edges at first. But this is something I probably plan on doing at least once a week, maybe twice, maybe 3-4 times a week. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's go Yankees.